This is Jake and Jacob.
And I'm Jake. Oh, shit.
This is Jake and Jacob.
And I'm Jacob. And this is our retro review
Of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
What?
Now, this is a new segment we're doing where we review classic or retro films. And what we're going to try and do is it's going to be a film that one of us hasn't seen before. So I am actually not really familiar with the Indiana Jones franchise, weirdly enough. I watched the original, and I haven't really seen Temple of Doom, whereas Jacob's seen the whole franchise. So it'll be an interesting take. It'll be Jacob's sort of like, I guess, rewatch of it. It'll be my first take, like, does it live up to the hype? How do I feel about it? Etc. So each time we do one of these retro reviews, we're going to switch it up. Next week, or next time we do it, it'll be Jacob's turn to see something that he hasn't seen before, some classic film. For example, like The Godfather. I've seen that. Jacob hasn't. Maybe we'll do that next week. Maybe we won't. So we'll go ahead and let's put on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Retro review.
We just finished watching Indiana Jones.
Temple of Doom.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, dun, 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 dun. I think this is regarded as like everyone's favorite. It's like the Empire Strikes Back of the Indiana Jones franchise.
Or is Empire the Temple of Doom of the Star Wars franchise?
Up for debate. But this is my first time watching it. I can definitely see why it's people's favorite. I mean, I've only seen the first one, which is called
Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right. And I don't know, it's great. But I mean, I sort of knew what to expect going in because I'm aware of like what the franchise is like. But I just like, I wish more, me and Jake were talking about this during the movie. I just like wish more movies were made like this. Like there's something about like the feel of like these older Spielberg movies, like Jurassic Park, like E.T., like Indiana Jones, that just kind of like, there's like, it's almost like whimsical and comical and like the set design and the characters, and you just can't really get away with that today without it being a parody. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have like that sort of like wholesome fun to it.
Yeah.
Even though it can be gruesome at times, but it's like gruesome in like a family friendly way. It's weird.
It's kind of like Goonies, right?
Exactly.
Like there's like everyone knows if you've seen this movie, like the big set design at the end where they're underground. Like you see that in any movie today, it's just considered like cheap or campy or silly.
Campy, for sure.
But for this movie, it's like I understand the serious tone and you understand the weight and what's going on in the movie, but the whole time you're just like, man, I can laugh when the sledgehammer bounces off somebody's head and makes that doink sound. But I can like, but I also get like suspense when there's like intense scenes with everything going on. So it's like you can laugh and it's like a ride. It's like literally,
totally.
It's like you're at a Paramount or Wonderland like ride, or you're playing a video game and you're just like along with it. And you're just like, oh man, this is happening. This is happening. This is silly. This is stupid. This villain's like, it's over the top in the best ways.
It really it just like makes you, especially just going from the beginning when they're in Shanghai, going up until like when they're like deep in India, and you feel like you've gone on an adventure because there's these like big colorful characters. Like the villains are just like, they really stand out, and just like the big moments, and it's a constant chase scene. It's just like action and one-liners and hero shots, and like, you know, Indiana Jones' little sidekick Shorty or whatever. He's just like hilarious.
I'm your best friend, Indy. Indy, you're my best friend. The important thing about his character, see, I don't think many movies, and I don't want to compare a lot of movies to today, but not a lot of movies today when they get like that side character, the comedic relief, I find sometimes they're annoying. I find their lines are very written. But this kid, I don't even know if he's acting half the time. He has got so much heart. He's like, he felt like me when I first, like, when you watch this movie, it's like, you're just like, oh, Indiana Jones, oh, you're my best friend. Like, he's just so much fun, and he gives the audience a reason to have fun with this movie.
Yeah, like, if you're a kid watching this, like, you relate to him. You know what I mean? Like, everyone can relate to someone in the movie.
And I think the other thing with this movie is just, like, I guess there's also debate, but, like, come on. Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones is completely badass. Like, he's badass wearing a bow tie, and he's badass with half a shirt ripped off.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing too. Like, I was thinking this when I was watching. What's the first one called again?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Sorry, I know I sound ignorant and stupid, but like, just like that get up, you know, the hat, the whip, the whole thing. Like, I mean, it's an iconic look and costume now. Like, people dress up as Indiana Jones all the time, but like, you just don't have like strong characters like that are being created anymore. Like, originally, like, you have lots of characters today based on like comic book characters or whoever, but like, no one's coming up with like this as like an iconic character for the ages. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting for you to, like, for everything you're saying so far, it's just things that, like, something that I would say, but you're saying it as a first time watching it, which really shows you the impact of this movie. Like, coming in this movie, not really seeing it, kind of already, obviously you know a lot about Indiana Jones. Obviously everything's going to ruin it from the internet, but still having the effect that almost a first timer would get out of it. That just shows you how good these movies hold up. Like, yeah, there's obviously going to be some technical things you can point at, but to me, like, that doesn't, even to this date in 2018, doesn't ruin the movie.
No, I like, it's not one of those movies that age badly at all. Like, you can go back and watch it anytime. You know what I mean? Show your kids Indiana Jones and they'll be entertained.
Now, the downside. We got to talk about something a little negative if we have to, because we're still doing review. We can't just gush all over this film.
Oh, yeah, that's one thing we should figure out right now. I wasn't even going to bother giving it a score, because I don't think it's worth giving all movies a score.
That's what we do. We score things.
Because it's like so subjective, but I guess all movies are.
Yeah, that's everything we do here. But if I was to say anything negative, it is obviously there's going to be things you're going to pick at, because even during its time, there are still things they're trying to figure out, the technology they have. I do find... I find this is just me. We talked about this, so this is gonna be difference opinion and difference in review. But the girl character, I find they really just, I don't know, rush the relationship for the movie, and I do kind of find her a little annoying. Like, I understand the importance of her character, but I find she's a very weak character. Gets a little annoying. Like I said, there's not much to gripe about here in this movie. This is an extremely fun, friendly family movie that you can just show a newbie. Or somebody who's watched it a bunch of times, and you'll always enjoy this.
Yeah, the characters all really stand out. I guess you could say like the female lead is like more two-dimensional, but she's definitely a character of the time. Like, nothing about the movie surprised me in that regards. But I don't have much else to say. I think most people have seen this movie. So
do one more question, since this is a old school thing, so we kind of can give spoilers. But favorite scene, just quickly, first thing maybe comes to your head, something that you're always going to remember from this movie, just a favorite scene.
That's difficult, because I feel like with movies like this that are so big and there's so much going on, I need to watch it a few times to really have that scene that stands out.
What stands out? What just quickly think maybe it's not your favorite, just something that quickly stands out with this movie?
I mean, I guess it would have to be like the kind of climatic moment when they're all around the volcano thing, and like, probably more so when you first see it. So like when Indy and like Willie and Shorty, they all stumble upon like this sort of cult that's behind everything for the first time, and you're like, whoa, like, look at all this shit going on, and then like everything that kind of follows. But nothing really stands out more than they all kind of look on par. The minecart stuff was cool too.
Mine is, it's near the beginning of the movie, and you'll probably be like, oh, that's a good part, is when, as soon as this big like circle thing falls down, Indiana Jones ducks behind it for cover. From that transition until he gets on the plane, because you get obviously the Obi-Wan Club, then you get the silly reference. He's like, "See you later, Lao Chang," where his name is, closes the door, and it's just like, there's his name. Everything from the car sequence, but you need to know these characters. Like, okay, Indiana Jones is this guy, the girl is this character, and then you meet Short Rod. You're like, I get the characters. I'm introduced to these characters, and I get this movie's gonna be kind of like tongue-in-cheek, but also action. You get the whole movie, what the movie's gonna be about, in this like little car action scene as soon as they jump out the window. Yeah,
it was like a super strong opening. Like, I loved it. It was the great opening to the movie. Like, even if you haven't ever seen Raiders of the Lost Ark, you don't need to, because you can just watch this and be like, okay, I get it.
So my final question is, what are you gonna rate it out of 10?
Let's give it a 9 out of 10.
Whoa. I'm going to give it, I was going to give it, but just to be different, I'm going to give it a 9.1.
All right, you hear it here first. 9.1, Jacob's first decimal. This has been Jake and Jacob Retro Reviews.
And I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you next time.
Boy.